What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of our Move the Needle podcast. I am Mathew Blades.
Steve Petz.
And this is it, man. Episode number 58. I had my espresso pinky out there for just a second.
Wait, is that what that is?
Yeah,
I was
when
wondering
you
if
sip
that
the
is.
espressos and the pinky kind of kicks out, I guess I have a mic pinky, too.
Gotcha.
Anyway.
I thought you were pointing
How
at me.
are you?
Doing fantastic.
You ready for a good show?
I am. I love coming here. Love the ambiance.
Where is here,
usually
Steve?
quiet. HomeSmart Corporate,
Ooh.
which is in pretty much North Scottsdale here,
Yeah,
right? In
yeah,
the
we're
bed
almost
of
on top of the TPC golf course.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's how I framed
Great
it to be.
spot.
Like, this is where everybody parks when they come
Yeah,
down to
yeah.
the Waste Management Phoenix Open.
So we always want to thank them,
Yep.
being amazing venue, amazing host for us to have our podcast,
Yeah.
and a couple others. You want to
Sure,
in there?
Craft 64, Amy Richardson from Savvy Real Estate. She's a part of HomeSmart.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, big ups to everybody. In fact, why don't we do this? We're going to take a quick break. I want you to watch this commercial that Amy Richardson has filmed just for you, just so that you can be a part of our experience. And then when we come back, we've got a guy who I know and love, Dr. David Leichen, who's on my podcast, Learn from People Who Lived It. A dude I've never met before. Have you ever met Grayson before?
I have not met Grayson.
Okay. Grayson Payne will be here from Genesis City, which sounds like an incredible endeavor. But first, Christy Whitman's going to be here. She's a New York Times best-selling author and all things energy.
Can't wait for this.
Yeah,
And her energy when she walked in, we felt her walk in.
Did you feel it?
I did.
All right.
Can't wait.
She'll be right here in just a second. We'll see you then.
Buying or selling a home is one of the most important decisions you're going to make, so you deserve someone who truly cares about your journey. I'm Amy Richardson with the Savvy Realty Group and HomeSmart. Living and raising my family in Ahwatukee for nearly 20 years, this community isn't just where I work, it's my home. Growing up in the Midwest, I learned early the importance of connections and relationships. These values shape everything I do. From our initial conversation to long after you've settled into your new home, I'm here to provide ongoing support and guidance. From staging to cutting-edge marketing strategies, we expertly showcase your home to sell swiftly for the highest possible price. So if you're ready to buy or sell, please reach out to me. And remember, important decisions require savvy solutions.
Well, welcome back. This is Move the Needle. We're live at HomeSmart today. And as promised, Christy Whitman would be sitting right here in this chair when we all get back. How are you?
I'm great. I'm happy to be here with you.
Look at this. We went with the blues.
Right?
Yes. Oh, actually, you're more of a periwinkle.
A little bit purpley. It's my color,
Yeah.
so.
But it's,
I love purple.
yeah, but it's definitely the Blue Crew.
It
The
is.
Blue Crew. I
The
love
Blue
that.
Crew.
I love it.
You got a book out now. It's called The Flow Factor, and so I definitely want to spend a couple of minutes talking about that. But first up, you're Arizona born and bred, eh?
I am. I was born and raised here, and I love it here. You know, I didn't appreciate it when I was growing up. I didn't appreciate
that.
it was like sunny all the time. And, you know, living in Chicago and Montreal where you have the four seasons, it's great, but I need the sun.
How long were you in Chicago?
I was in Chicago 2.5 years
Okay.
after realizing that I couldn't stand the winter,
weather.
and then I fell in love with a man from Montreal, which, believe it or not, can actually be worse than Chicago. So
Yeah.
I was like, the day I moved there, it was February 2nd, and
Oh,
I
boy.
remember there was just a snowbank
Oh, boy.
so big that it covered the cars, and I was thinking, I'm either insane or I'm in love, maybe one of the both at the same time. But yeah, I lasted 10 years there, and then I was like, we're going to Arizona. And
Look,
he
I can
he
see
loves, he
Montreal
loves to
being
golf, so.
incredible.
Montreal
place to live.
is an incredible city. I got a chance to
amazing
visit, and I
city.
actually had a good friend there in college, so I spent college time there, which was really cool.
Oh, it's a fun
Going
city.
to college parties and stuff like that. But it is cold. I remember in November, I think it was actually below zero towards the end when I was flying at the end of November.
Wow.
Yeah,
Now, did you have to learn
yeah.
French?
Un petit peu.
Okay.
Yeah, that was about it.
Just enough to like order
She's on the
food and
English
go to
side
the
of the
bathroom.
track.
I
Yes.
knew enough to have people say to me, "Quoi?" Because whenever I would try to speak French, they would be like, "What are you saying?" So you know,
You might as well be speaking Spanish if you're not speaking French, because if you know what goes on in Montreal, it is really one of the most interesting dichotomy places, cities to exist. I mean, there is a really strong French influence,
Yeah. For
sure.
and a very strong.
I just know
English,
when I watch
and they
Habs
barely
games,
blend.
that's
Yeah.
like the announcers are.
Zéro.
No,
Yeah,
but they how they barely blend, and they're their neighbor. It is interesting. Right?
It is.
You learned about that.
I
right?
remember one of my first. We were out in the sticks, if you will, and it was all French. Like nobody spoke any English in there. And we went into a dépanneur, which is like a 7-Eleven,
Oh,
like
okay.
a
Gas station.
Yeah, And I wanted to buy a pack of gum. And so they have different money even, right? It's like they have loonies and toonies, right? They're dollars and $2 bills that are in coins. And so I went in to buy a pack of gum, and I couldn't speak the language, and she's telling me what the amount is, and I'm looking at the change, no idea what it is. So I felt like a little 3-year-old. I was like, you know, so yeah.
That was me in my first trip to Italy. It was like, I don't know.
Just
Tell
what
me
is
what you, and I trust you. I trust you.
So from the frigid cold back to Arizona.
Yes.
To where you're supposed to be, right?
Yeah, I love it here. I just love it here. I appreciate it so much more than I ever did. So
yeah, well, we've been lucky. This summer has been one of the more mild ones in the last few years.
I can remember.
You're welcome. No,
That-
why I
You
say
brought it?
that?
You?
Why I
Why?
say that is because I intend that every summer. I say I intend that it is below 100, or
Yes.
if it has to be, it's like a few days of anything under less than 115.
Okay.
And I've
All
been
right.
doing that for years now, and
Thank you.
it works.
It's catching up.
This is interesting. That's a question. So you said it's been, in a few years. I can't remember. I've been here a long time, but you've been a native. Look, where would you rate the summer? Was it really like kind of off the charts mild?
Mild.
Off the charts?
I remember as a kid, my dad, I used to work with him during the summers, and there was one summer it was 124 degrees out. Imagine that, 124
I'm moving
degrees.
to Montreal.
Yeah, right. I
When
remember
that-
he had an office that was next to a Baskin Robbins, and on that day I went and got an ice cream cone. The minute I walked outside, it just went
Gone.
I mean, just all over the place.
And it wasn't too far. We're not too far removed. And we had that summer where I think 115 days in a row where the palm trees died.
It was last year.
Yeah.
No, it was
a few years ago.
Yeah.
okay.
You know what it was? It was 2020. It was that.
Yeah,
when everybody was in the house.
Yeah, last
year.
summer I died. I think that's what happened.
Yeah.
On your site, you're listed as a New York Times best-selling author,
Yes.
so that tells me that there's more than just this new book here.
This
which
is my
out
7th
now.
baby. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
What was it
7th
like
book.
giving birth to your first one?
Well, that was exciting because, never done that before, and it downloaded through me. I mean, I'm a channel, so every book that I write just comes through me. And that one was, I got woken up at 1:05 in the morning, 7 nights in a row, and the book is 7 chapters. And then I thought, okay, well, I think I'm writing a book, and I reached out to the only person I knew that was ever an author, Terry Cole Whitaker, and she happened to endorse the book. And this is 25 years ago. So
Right.
I said to her, how do I get a book published? And she goes, go online. Now, online isn't what 25 years ago, what
right.
it is today. So she said, find a literary agent, go online. I literally put in literary agent, and this guy's picture popped up. He was a literary agent / publisher. Sent him the manuscript, and he's like, great, I'll publish it. And it was a print on demand. And so all of my friends and family bought the book. They thought I was crazy because I'm talking about energy and things that they are like, what is she talking about? And
Right.
so I started speaking in spiritual bookstores and churches, and people asked me, are you a coach? And I'm like, what, like a football coach, cheerleading coach? Because I had no frame of reference that a life coach even existed. And if they
Yeah.
did, they were living in a van down by the river.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
right.
so
amazing.
Yeah, so that was kind of my first intro
What was
to
the first book called?
The Perfect Pictures.
Perfect Pictures.
Perfect
okay.
pictures. So how we have these images or expectations, and if something isn't perfect, then we complain about what's not right and what's wrong, and that pulls our energy down. And we could have all things great in our lives, but we look at what the discontent is, and then we focus on that, and then we create more of that.
Oh, this is my girl right here. This is it.
I want to spin it back before the books. The energy space. Where did this come from? Is this something from childhood? Is this something you grew into? Something where did this come from?
No, so I was living in Chicago, and I had graduated college from ASU, and I had like a checklist in my mind. Nobody sat me down and said, you'll be happy when. I just surmised from all the people I saw that are successful and that looked happy. So I went to college, I got a degree, got a great paying job. I had health in my body, friends around me. I was engaged to be married, and I had literally a sit down with my best friend that's known me since 7th grade saying, I've never seen you more miserable. And I thought, well, I'm supposed to be happy. Like, why am I not happy? And that really was like my time of soul searching. Like, well, is this all there is? If this stuff doesn't make me happy, because on a checklist, to the average person, you go, oh, well, she's got money, she's got this, she's got that, right? I wasn't.
everything.
She's got it all, right? And one of my books is actually The Art of Having It All, which is funny to write that later.
My friend Courtney calls it miserably successful.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's what it is.
And
I experienced it on a grand scale too.
But you know what's great is that moment in time, it's like it had me asking bigger questions.
Yes.
It's like, what is this about? What is this really all there is? Which led me to break up with said fiance and started dating a guy from California. And so I did a transfer from Chicago to California with my company, and got there, and about 2 weeks later found out that he was cheating on me.
Oh.
So I dated bad boys. I loved bad boys.
Sure.
Like the crappier they treated me, the more I loved them.
Yeah.
So that was kind of my pattern at the time. And so this was just a moment in time where I just was like, okay, I'm not dating. I'm gonna go into myself. And I happened to be one person from that boyfriend, and she was a hairdresser. And I went to go get my hair cut, and Janine I didn't have a language at that time, but she had an energy about her that was like palpable. And I was watching her, and I'm like, what is she, and I finally asked her, what do you do? And she said, I meditate. Now, back then, this is like 38 years ago, back then, I never knew anybody that even talked about meditating or meditated. So like my paradigm in my head was some guru guy with, gray hair,
sitting in a yogi
long
position.
Sitting in the yoga position, exactly, oming, on top of a mountain. So here's this.
Sadly, people still have that idea.
Yeah,
but
for
whatever.
sure.
And it's okay to do that if you do that.
Yeah, absolutely. But here was this. It was a paradigm shift for me, because here she was some hip chick, from San Ramon, California, married, had a dog, and here she was. She's like, I meditate, and you remember the movie When Harry Met Sally?
For sure.
When the scene when they're in the diner and
she
the
has
woman's
a fake
like,
orgasm?
right, exactly.
She says, I'll have what
she's having. Exactly. That's how I felt. I'm like, I want what she has.
Yeah.
So she gave me her meditation teachers.
Was it Transcendental Meditation?
No, it was called Light Body.
Oh, okay.
And so she gave me her number, and you remember back then we had these big old brick phones. I'm really dating myself.
Yeah.
So I was dialing her number, and I happened to go to Melanie's house, and she had new age clinky clanky music on, incense and candles and angel statues everywhere. And I'm thinking, what in the heck am I getting myself into? And she asked me to sit down, not on a couch or a chair, but on a cushion. And all of a sudden, this big fat cat named Steve comes by me, and he's purring. And I'm thinking, what in the hell? She looked me dead in the eyes. I think the first time anyone's ever looked at me into my soul. And she said, you create your own reality. And that moment, it was like something that was in me birthed out of me. And that was my moment of just transformation.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, look, we could go on for hours, but that everybody needs to know that. Everybody needs to know that. Like, it's
your own
right
reality
here, and you just have to find a way to tap into it. Steve?
Well, real quick, I want to just say this last thing because most people will probably say this because I did. Well, how do I create my own reality?
Well, why don't you read the book?
Well, there you go. I wrote 7, so pick your
What page? I want to know right now.
There's a whole appendix in the back.
Right?
There you go.
Walk them right up to the answer and then say, you'll find it in here. That's it. That's how we do that. No, go ahead. Give everybody a quick tip.
Truly was. I said, how? Because my brain kicked in and went, how? And she said, by your thoughts. You're either repelling things from you or attracting things to you based on the way you think. And again, that was another huge paradigm shift for me, because I was like, the way I think, I thought I was my thoughts. I believed everything that my head said. So if I heard a negative thought say, you're too fat, or you're not good enough, or you're too short, or you're this, I believed it.
Yes. Everybody who also believes it. There's a book that I read that changed my life by Michael Singer. It's just fantastic. I mean, he's got a couple of them out. The Untethered Soul is a really, really good one, but The Divided Mind actually takes it a step further with You Are Not Your Thoughts, which is a good thing, because did you know, Steve, that the average human has about 60,000 thoughts a day?
Did not know that.
And over 80% of them are repeat thoughts that you don't even give weight to.
And negative.
That I did know. I've heard it. The people refer it to the DVR playing over and
That's
over
what it is.
again.
It's on skip.
Yeah, it's on skip.
Yes, it's on skip.
So, yeah, I had so the question about this energy flow. that just happens, these magical moments that you teach can be summoned on demand. Can you talk about that? Like, I mean, I think I'm just intrigued, for our audience.
What athletes call being in the zone, right? We can create that. What a musician, when they're just in that receiving mode of that song, like you hear Billy Joel or, Elton John, they just like had these songs created in a moment. I remember Tommy, what's his name? Tommy, it'll come to me, from Styx.
Tommy Shaw.
Thank you, Tommy Shaw. He was in a cab, and it was back in the day. He wrote Too Much Time on My Hands. He could hear the song. He could hear the lyrics and the song playing as if it was a song that already existed. And he was like, nobody talked to me, and ran into the house and had to write it down. I mean, those are those moments.
It's amazing.
It is, but we have that ability to tap into that all the time because that's what flow is.
Right. And I would say, for the audience watching here, a lot of that happened to me, and hopefully Mathew, but when I was producing this show a little over a year ago when we were in the soup kitchen, there was actually a couple nights I remember I popped out of bed and I like literally wrote for 2 hours in the beginning. A lot of the concept when we were building this concept, it just popped up and just started writing. And a lot of that stuff we actually still use today. It's amazing how that
6
goes.
more chapters and you'd have your first book.
Maybe. I've got the notes now, so.
Yeah.
But that's what we're talking about. It's like you're creative.
Yes.
It's like it just goes. You feel good. Time just like goes by. You don't even realize it. It's like that's being in that flow that exists for us all the time.
I want to go back though, because I will say before that though, I had a block. We again, like, let's talk back then when formation of ideas and creation. We're in I call it the soup kitchen. There were some mental blocks, and again, it's amazing how I had a breakthrough day, and it was somebody talking to me, and I just saw something in him.
Was it Fred?
What's that? No,
Was it Fred?
No, not Fred.
Judy,
a cardiologist.
Larry.
Jessica.
He was a cardiologist, and he actually was one of the very first guys. Listen to this. I mentioned Todd to him. He was one of the very first guys that started those heart institutes in Milwaukee.
Oh.
And so he's a retired, successful heart surgeon. He told me how he was pushing the envelope in that industry when they didn't have that, and how hard it was. You did not go to a separate building to work on your heart at that time. You just went to the hospital. It was the same thing. And so anyways, at the time we were creating something different and the same, and I was resonating with his thoughts. Like, if you really have the right idea, you need to go for that. And there was really the message I took. And so there, from
you
there,
could call
it was like,
that the
boom.
law of attraction in a way, because like literally your frequency, like you're vibing at a certain level. You back me up on this. You're the expert, but here's what my layman brain knows. You're like, I'm in this space. I could use a little bit of help, maybe subconsciously or consciously. You're saying this or whatever, and then all of a sudden you'll turn on the news and somebody will be there and they're saying something that you need, or you turn on a podcast and they're saying that you need to go to church on Sunday, and every word feels like it's directly for you. Like that's what she's talking about. If I'm not mistaken, you created this connection with that doctor in Milwaukee.
Yeah. You created the flow and the inspiration. Yesterday I had 3 different people at separate different times of the day mention the word Sedona to me, so I'm like, I'm going to Sedona. Yeah. It's like, there's something
that's
calling
the listening
me.
you're talking
Exactly. That's listening.
How do people get better at listening?
By listening, by hearing, by being present.
So you got to get quiet first.
Quiet. Yeah. How can you listen if you're talking?
Right.
So if your mind's going, bzzz, you can't hear that inner voice.
Yeah, it's so
you
good.
can't hear that still small voice.
Is there a level of patience too that you have to develop to I think, because here's what I've recognized. Sometimes conversations can get so lively you don't intend your lesson. You're just into it, and sometimes you just have to have the patience. Maybe I'm using the wrong word. The patience to sit back and listen, I guess. Is that the right word?
The intention, right? Because we all have free will, and I talk about this in the Flow Factor. We all have free will.
The Flow Factor out now.
The Flow Factor.
You are. I'm going to hire you as a marketing guy, right?
Let's go.
So yeah, the flow always exists, right? But it's us and our own free will. Are we thinking about what's not working? Are we thinking about what we don't want? Are we in fear or worry or lack? Are we in that survival mode of fight, flight, freeze? Because when we're there, we're blocking the flow.
Yeah, that's so good.
And when we get in neutrality, which I like to call like there's the space of lack, which never feels good. Right. There's a space of abundance, which always feels good. But most people can't go from bad to good like that, right? So there's a stepping stone, and that's neutrality. There's actually a law that I teach that's the law of sufficiency and abundance. Because once you get into, I'm okay, this is enough, now you can start moving into abundance.
I'm glad you said that, because a lot of people read the book The Secret, and it talked about the law of attraction, but then I was over there going like, hey, there's 12 laws. There's a lot more than just that one, and they all have to work together. And so speak to that just a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I talk about the 7 essential laws, and one of the laws that I say, like, if you apply this law, then it makes all the other laws work together, which is the law of sufficiency and abundance. Because when you are deliberately applying your own thoughts, your own free will to this, what you do want, what you want to feel, what you want to experience, and coming from that state of, I already have it, I'm abundant, right? Now you're vibrating abundance out, and the law of attraction kicks in and brings you more of the same, no matter what you're vibrating out. So when you're tuned into our natural state, I mean, we could look at, first of all, we are abundant. If you look at your physical body, there isn't just 1 trillion cells. There are trillions of cells in your body. I mean, try to get even your mind around 1 million or even 1 billion.
Right.
1 trillion, I can't even think about that, but there's trillions of cells that are in our body right now. There are the number of times our heart beats or the breaths that we take. I mean, we are living, breathing examples of abundance. If we even go beyond ourselves, if you go look out the mountains, right? You can't look at how many pieces of gravel there are. Yeah. If I was in a different state, I'd say grass, right? How many blades of grass there are. It's abundant. How many trees are there? If you go to the ocean's edge, you cannot count how many waves crash up against the shore or how many ounces of water. Our universe is built in abundance. And when we start focusing on that, we see more of it because now we're in tune with that.
Yeah,
but it's so easy.
You got to tune out the noise.
Well, it's so easy because we're also limited beings. And there is evidence in this law of polarity world. That's one of the laws I talk about. If there's up, there's down, hot, cold, in, out, right? If there's evidence of lack, there also is the pure potential. It's another law, pure potentiality. There's also the pure potential for abundance, for the opposite of that lack.
Isn't there something in the law of polarity? I feel like I was listening to a podcast and the guy was kind of explaining there's something in the law of polarity about tension, and with you need tension to grow. I may have a different law, or maybe it was a different thing. We'll edit this whole thing out.
Well, you know what? Don't. It's a really good point. Yeah. That's what I talk about in the flow factor.
The flow factor out now.
I love this guy. Yeah. You're awesome. Yeah. No, Matt, I mean, seriously, we have contrast. Contrast, it doesn't matter who we are. It doesn't matter if you're the richest person in the world, you're the greatest celebrity, if you're the best person in the world. Every single human being, and not just once, will experience contrast, meaning what you don't want. But contrast is evidence of, okay, I can either push against this, I can resist this contrast, I can complain about it, I can freeze from it, I can run away from it, but it still exists. But we can utilize it as a manifester, as the first stage in manifesting, because we could look at something and go, I don't want that. So then what do I want? When I was living in Montreal, right? I was on the phone. It was my last winter there, and I know this because I'll tell you the story. I was walking out to my car, and my car wouldn't open up because it was frozen.
Shut.
It's frozen shut.
I'm an East Coaster too, trust me.
I grew up in Minnesota.
We know
you
this.
get it, right? So I am on the phone with a friend of mine who's also a coach, and this is, again, 10 years ago. And I am literally saying to him, this frickin', and he's like, Whitman. I'm like, what? And he goes, you could live anywhere. You're a coach. You have an online business. Like, you could live anywhere. What are you doing? And I go, hang on. I walk back in the house. I go, babe, this is my last winter here. With or without you, this is my last winter here.
Let's make plans.
He got on the computer that moment and got us a house to rent for the next winter. But so that contrast gave birth to, I don't want this anymore. So what do I want? I want to be in Arizona. I want to be in the sun. I want good weather. It's a birthing place.
It's so good. God, how do we get 3 hours with Christy?
Yeah.
You got to pay for it.
Well,
or you buy the book, The Flow Factor.
Well, I'm gonna try to get a freebie out of her from the book for our audience here. Okay.
A lot of freebies, quite frankly.
Your book makes flow sound like a superpower.
It is.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. I know we can all tap into it. If you could gift just one simple practice from it to everyone listening today, what would that be?
So when you notice contrast, right? Ask yourself 3 questions. What do you want? Why do you want it? And how do you want to feel? And then connect with the feeling. Because here's the thing. Most people think if I want to feel successful, I have to go get this. If I want to be loved, I got to find a woman or a man. If I want, whatever it is, right? I have to go get something, get a job, make more money. There's conditions involved. There's things that I have to create, have in a certain sense of form. But all those forms are created by the energy that we hold. So I like to think of it as like keys on a piano. The piano has potential to play Bach, anywhere from Led Zeppelin to Chopsticks, right?
Right.
We're the piano players, but those vibrations and those keys are available. We're the ones that, with our free will and choice, have to play them, have to choose them. And so when you're knowing what I want, why do I want it, what do you want, get your mind on what you want, which is huge. Why you want it, get your emotional body involved. And when you got the two, the mental body and the emotional body, now you've got a lot of power, because now your physical body starts to feel it. You've got 4 bodies. You've got mental, emotional, physical, and energy. So when you start to feel, your mind's the focus on what you want, you start to feel into what you want, your body feels good biochemically, you start feeling like bubbles of joy in your head, right? And you start to cultivate, I want to feel passion, I want to feel purpose, I want to feel joy, right? I want to feel abundance. Then you start to feel that, think about feeling it. What would that feel like as if you already had it right now? That thing, person, place, thing, what would you feel like now? And feel that, cultivate that, meditate on it, journal about it, contemplate it, talk about it, right? And then that becomes your reality, and then you attract it. You don't need to know how. The hows will come.
Yeah. We're just going to wrap up.
Yeah.
This is the only thing we needed to do.
Yeah.
Today.
Do you want me to drop the mic
Drop
like
the
that?
mic, yeah. We'll have to say sorry to Grayson and Dave, but we're done. This is just kidding.
Everybody join the positive energy.
Incredible.
Just jump on board.
Yeah. Well, the Flow Factor is out right now. I don't know if you've heard. You can pick that up. Go to Christy's website. We'll link to it in our bio. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
How do people work with you? Who works with you?
Yeah, so I do one-on-one, coaching, healing. I channel and counsel. We didn't even get to talk about that, but Ascended Masters. For 3 hours. Yeah, so I do group classes. I have meditation series on my website at ChristyWhitman.com. I mean, there's lots of ways to work with me.
So
baller.
So interesting. Yeah. So exciting.
Thank you.
Yeah. So energetic.
I know. That's all the things. All right, cool. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
thank
really
you both.
Good to have
I appreciate you.
Dr. David Leichen's going to be on with us, and we're going to talk about our new 6-week wellness course that we just released on Amazon last week, which is kind of exciting. My first little book. And when we come back, we're going to sit down with Grayson, and we're going to learn about what he's doing at Genesis City. We'll see you in a minute. Hi there, my name is Mathew Blades.
And I'm Steve Petz. And together we host the YouTube and podcast series, Move the Needle.
And we're reaching out to you because we're looking for incredible guests in our community who are doing just that, moving the needle. So who are you thinking?
Restaurant owners, business owners, educators, coaches,
professional baseball, football, basketball, whatever, former athletes, nonprofit leaders, speakers, authors. If you're moving the needle in our community, we'd love to feature you on our podcast.
Really, if you're a person of impact, positive impact, trying to transform.
You don't want anybody with negative impact?
No negative impact. No negativity. That's the only criteria. How about that?
All right. If you're interested in being a guest on our Move the Needle YouTube and podcast series, hit the link below, and we look forward to hearing from you.
Thank you.
Well, welcome back. This is segment number 2 of our Move the Needle YouTube and podcast series. And Christy Whitman, what a gem that we had there, hey?
Yeah, Grayson, you feeling the energy from that seat that she was in? I mean, it's still probably like you're probably feeling that, right?
Yeah, I'm trying to take some of her notes right now and, meditate a little bit, get ready for this interview.
I like it. As she was talking, I was like, this is kind of the messaging that a lot of your students could use in a big way. And so let's back up a little bit and talk about Genesis City. Grayson, what's your role there?
So I'm the executive director of Genesis City.
So you run the thing.
I do.
What is it? What is it?
Oh, so it's a youth services agency. Simply put, we assist youth in transitioning from teenage, early 20s into their adulthood, hopefully in a place where they can support themselves at a respectable job and, grow into this community as opposed to just kind of getting by at the McDonald's job or the Masonic job, whatever's going on right now.
Getting thrown out there.
Exactly, because it's, as we all know, it's a really tough world out there, especially if you don't have the tools.
Right.
And a lot of the times, the youth that we work with, they simply have been surviving. They haven't had the opportunity.
Let me put some color around that. The demographics at Genesis City, 95% are low to low, very low income. 99% are minority. 99% are behind a year or more in skills. 50% are the victims of crime or abuse. 15% are pregnant. A third of them have been through the juvenile system. 30% have been incarcerated or on probation. So we're talking about a group that, probably at some point gets interested in turning the light on for themselves and getting their life pointed in the right direction. And without a place like you, it's so difficult to navigate.
Absolutely. And sometimes the light comes in from themselves, and sometimes it's a forced situation. Maybe they're on probation, maybe they're on parole. And I kind of picture it as our job to light that light. If they come to us and they are not interested in education, don't see its value, our main job is really to show them what we're providing here can help you in the long run.
Okay.
Yeah, and I got a question very simple along that line. You're working with, I'm saying you're working with these kids that are told no a lot or you can't. What's the very first yes that you want them to hear from you guys?
Are we going to be there for them?
Perfect. That's a great one.
Yeah, but so many of them suffer from abandonment issues and just people that haven't stuck around.
Exactly. They're accustomed to loss. They're accustomed to not having that support system. They're accustomed to having it for a moment and then it disappearing for whatever reason. So we really have to focus on being consistently there, always on the same page of lifting each other up.
Okay. I know that the people that graduate from Genesis City, you call them trailblazers.
We do.
Why?
Well, in a way, in the community as well as in their families, they are oftentimes the first one taking this step. We don't want them to simply get a high school diploma, walk out into the world and try their hand at anything. We want them to get that diploma and in the process think about, what do I want to do? What is my passion? And hopefully find something that they can monetize that they also enjoy so they can live, a life that they all deserve.
And this is the 25th year that you all have been in business?
33rd.
This is the 33rd.
Yeah.
Kind of a little short
Goodness
there.
gracious. I know that was kind
Almost
of
a
short.
decade there.
Slap my hand. I'm sorry about that.
Not a
So,
problem.
I guess we should have backed up all the way to the beginning. But how did this whole thing even start?
So it started before I was alive, so I can't speak too much on the first inception. I can give flowers to Karen Callahan. She was working in the Phoenix College space, and she saw this need in the Valley. And she realized there wasn't really a high school or an opportunity for these students to, have a second chance. So she started off in the basement of Phoenix College. She started the high school Genesis Academy, which is under Genesis City, our nonprofit. From there, it just continued to grow. In 2007, we moved to 7th Street in McDowell, and that's where we've been based ever since. This
is the 10,000 square foot facility that you all run. I mean, it's a monstrous place.
Another simple question I was on Genesis City. Is there a meaning behind that? What does that mean for the group?
So that goes back to Karen's idea. It was, we're a city, as in we're in this together. We're all in the same city block. We have the same goals, the same mission. We're working together and building up our community or our city, if you will.
In Genesis from the beginning?
Yep.
From the beginning on up. Okay.
Yeah, you got to start somewhere, right?
Exactly.
Got to start somewhere.
So,
you mentioned a minute ago that a lot of people that come through the program or graduate are the first people to do that in their family. So, that is the definition of a trailblazer. There's no question about it. What do you notice inside the school that's a fun story for you to share with people? As the executive director, I'm sure you get asked all the time or put in positions where you're doing a little PR for the place. And what are some of the things that happen in the hallways that you really, really love to see? I know.
Well, there's a lot of answers to that question.
What happened today that you saw, or in the last couple of weeks?
The last couple of weeks, it's just the general, watching the slow transition from everyone is my enemy to, okay, maybe these people are okay, to I trust these people, to this is my home. That's really
this is my home.
That's what it's all about. That transition, and sometimes it happens in a couple months, sometimes it happens in a couple years, sometimes it never happens, but when it does, I think that's why we all still do what we do.
I wonder if this happens from time to time. Like, you get people who aren't used to love, they aren't used to affection, they aren't used to attention, and then when they start to receive it, it weirds them out, and they like self-sabotage, and then they bounce out of the program or they leave the program because of it. No?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I can see that happening.
They're not used to it sometimes, and it's like, what is your angle is what they're asking me.
Yeah.
You know, like, what are you trying to get from me if you're being this nice?
It can't be real, right? I mean, that's what a lot of people are thinking. It can't be real. When you don't have belief and sometimes you lose hope, it's just, kids are kids, right?
Yeah.
That's what they feel like.
Well,
Exactly.
and I mean, the way they come up is very difficult in a lot of ways, and that's why the abandonment piece I mentioned earlier.
The tools they've used to get to where they are not necessarily going to help them in school or into their careers.
Who's like the perfect student for you?
Well, I've got all of my graduates are my perfect students.
Okay.
Because that means they took a situation that I don't think I would have gotten myself out of, got through high school, and graduated. But in all honesty, it's the student that has every reason to stop, keeps coming to school, tells me he hates it, tells me he's never going to understand this. He's got a 3rd grade reading level, but he keeps coming. And he keeps coming, and he keeps trying, and that is all we need. If you try...
Man, you get paid in inspiration daily, don't you?
Yes, as well as the opposite. But
Yeah,
yes.
right.
You notice that persistent words, too? We said in our last podcast just this week. We got a little words of wisdom on that, too. Sounds like that's like a key to it. Just keep moving forward, one step at a time.
It really is. Even for ourselves, right? Like, every single day, just keep going. And if it was a hard lesson for me to learn, let alone for someone without the background and the support.
Right.
And if they start to realize that I can do almost anything if I just keep showing up.
Yeah.
And that's the key.
How many teachers are within Genesis City?
So we have 4 full-time teachers,
Okay.
and then we contract an art teacher. We try to focus on some positive coping skills, and that's what our art department is all about.
Oh, that's cool. You kind of use art therapy in a way.
Exactly, and they have background training in communication and just interpersonal relationships, as well as substance abuse and the like, and they kind of weave it into their art programming where, we're making art, we're learning new things in the art space, but at the same time, we're learning how to communicate to others efficiently. We're learning how to save a friend that may have overdosed on an opioid. It's just, we try to cover everything we can that these students might run into.
Oh, that's so great. I'm gonna hit them with some softballs.
I got a couple. I'm wondering, you better be a Broadway musical fan. So get your wheel spinning on that one if you're not. So question on that. But if you could wave a magic wand and instantly change one thing about the Arizona education system to better support these disengaged youth, what would it be?
Well, some people might find this answer to be a bit snarky, but I think our priorities are shifting. I think we are allowing too many funds to get distributed to students of already a high affluent background, as well as those institutions that are for-profit. Our private high schools in the Valley, they do get voucher programs where money is going from the state in their direction, and they have far less stipulations, requirements, red tape to cut through in order to run their program. Meanwhile, we're fighting for our lives just to keep the doors open, right? So that's, I think if we focused on that, just prioritizing our public schools, those that really need the help, and we would see a lot better results.
All right, what else you got?
Yeah, and then if Genesis City's journey, this is what I was getting at before, were turned into a Broadway musical, a fun one, what would the show-stopping number be, and who would sing it? You're gonna call somebody on your crew.
Can
Yeah,
can we switch to a sports question?
Who approved these questions?
There's you.
Get somebody. Where's our producer?
Max, you sent me that one.
Stop.
Wait, first of all,
So,
have you seen their
A
amazing
Broadway
crew?
musical. What would the number be called, and who would sing it?
From your crew. We're gonna have some of your crew listening to that. Who's gonna be the sing it from your crew?
All right.
I honestly don't know.
Maybe I feel like I need to help our guest out here a little bit. So
Sorry, guys, I
I'm going to
stumped him.
play off the Trailblazers thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to say that the Broadway musical, the number would be called Trailblazers Theme. All right, so that's the name of the song, and who would sing it? It would be somebody like I don't know, who's like a Tony Robbins kind of an influencer that could just hype everybody up and get everybody motivated to be a trailblazer. Okay. I don't know who would sing it.
Actually, that's a great correct. That's not even what I was saying. Truthfully, I didn't know this one. I didn't know if you were like a Broadway.
Steve's like, I'm going to ask him something I couldn't answer myself.
I'm intrigued by myself.
God, I could never answer this question. Let me ask Grayson.
Mathew, thank you for answering. You did as best you can. He looks like a Broadway. Looks, he's wearing the blue too. By the way, got the blue crew.
I know it's been a blue.
Got the memo.
Everybody's been in blue.
Crazy. Take that as a compliment. You look like you could be at Broadway musicals. You look like
thank you.
Maybe it's the glasses, the intellectual look. I don't know.
Maybe that's it.
Maybe it's all the things, Grayson.
So I took a winger. Sorry, guys.
Who and like here's what I want to wonder is like the people that are out there watching. Maybe they're like, maybe this school's for my kid. Maybe my kid's going through something and he needs a different kind of environment. Can anybody go to Genesis City?
Absolutely, and I feel like we've highlighted more of the poverty aspect of our institution so far, but what we really have been excelling in my opinion, the last several years has been the mental health aspect.
Oh, fantastic.
I would argue that about half of our students, if not more, are with us because in those big high schools, they are feeling these feelings of anxiety, depression. They're getting bullied. They kind of fade away into the background of the classroom because maybe they're shy. They might not know what's going on, but they don't raise their hand because, well, that's a lot for some people, right? It was a lot for me when I was growing up. And I think that's what we do very, very well. We all are trained in trauma-informed teaching, and we have the ability and, well, hopefully the skills to recognize when a student is struggling. And we all work as a team. I might get a text from a teacher like, hey, check on so-and-so. They made a different type of doodle in their notebook. It could be as simple as that. And I've had a couple of those conversations boil down to, the student is thinking about doing something drastic.
Some harm to themselves or something. Yeah, or to somebody else.
Exactly. And we see a lot of it, and I'm really proud of the way that we work as a unit. That is our priority, safety and then education. If you're not safe, you can never learn. And if you're not safe from yourself, then we have a lot of work to do, but we can get there.
This is good.
Good, beautiful.
I know he was so worried about following Christy Whitman. I'm like, he slayed it.
Very, very impactful.
Now, our next guest, I'm not so sure he can hang, but we'll see.
Yeah. Shout out to Genesis City, too. 100 women who care. They are
really?
Recipients. So
we were.
Right on, dude.
Shout out to Kim and you guys getting together, and congratulations on that too. We're a big media sponsor of them and reason why we're here.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Their funding went a really, really long way. It helped us put together our reading program. Our average reading scores coming in are around 4th to 5th grade. So this year we're really focusing on let's boost these numbers. It's really difficult to go out into the world if a lot of the things you're reading you don't quite comprehend all the way. So with those funds from the 100+ women who care, we built a little library in our big multi-purpose room. And we don't just have standard library books. We go from pre-K all the way up to post-college of reading levels. And essentially we try and, inspire them to read at their level. And the way we do that is by saying, hey, if you have siblings at home, you got nieces and nephews, you got pets, take a book to read to them. And that way it's not such I'm forced to read this kid book because my reading level's so low. It's I'm doing my family a service. And we back it up with data of children who are read to even as young as 1, 2, 3. On average, their academics as well as the amount of money they make throughout their lives, it just goes straight like this.
Such a good idea. I love the way you guys are thinking about things over there. Good for you, man.
Thank you. I can't take credit for that one. That was Mr. Blair, my English instructor.
Or was it?
Mr. Blair. He sounds like an English instructor.
Yep.
Yeah, sure. What was the word?
English. English instructor. Mr. Blair.
It, man. What's the best door for people to walk through? You guys online, like genesiscity.com? Is it that simple?
Yeah, genesiscity.org. You'll find us there. Stop in and visit. Maybe give us a call first so we can schedule it. Yeah. But if you want to learn more about us, if you want to support genesiscity.org, we have all the links there. Give us a phone call. We're really looking for more partnerships to help these students, as well as, of course, some extra funding would always be nice to kind of accelerate some of the programs we want to get going.
Any events coming up that you could shout out? Do you guys do any fundraising events or things coming up?
We do have a big one. It's called Genesis City Blues Night. It's going to be on April 11th this year.
Okay.
Don't quote me, as long as it's a Saturday.
Yeah, sometime in April.
April 2026. You got a little time to look it up.
Yep, we got some time. That is an event that keeps us going. We invite all of our supporters to it. The students go up, they speak about what the school means to them and kind of how it's helped them. Our dance team performs, which is always a great time. And we just that's the culmination of what we do. Just to show the students, these are all the people that are putting forth their time, their money, their effort to support your goal. And I think a lot of the ones that go to this event are like, oh my gosh, I'm not alone.
Right.
Who MCs that event?
Good for you.
Mathew?
Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see. We'll have to see.
Matthew's great at that. By the way, plug for my partner here in that space. Amazing MC in general, but to speaking to those kids and being inspirational, I think you'd be amazing.
I know. Trust me, I'm already thinking about it.
Take notes, Grayson.
I might take you up on that, because right now I have to do it, and it's not my most comfortable.
Yeah, you don't
if he's
love
available, hook him.
Yeah, that's great. Well, thank you very much, man.
Of course.
Super to meet you.
Thanks for having me.
We're going to take a quick break. When we come on back, one of my favorite humans in the world, Dr. David Leichen, is going to be with us. You don't know him yet, right? You've never met him yet, Steve?
Never met him yet.
Okay, so Dr.
Hard to
Dave,
find some info on him, but so I'm excited to hear
I know
this
he's
one.
the international man of
Ooh,
mystery.
another one of those guys.
I love it. But anyways, we're going to have a great chat about a book that him and I just released on Amazon, and we'll see you and do that right after this.
Buying or selling a home is one of the most important decisions you're going to make, so you deserve someone who truly cares about your journey. I'm Amy Richardson with the Savvy Realty Group and HomeSmart. Living and raising my family in Ahwatukee for nearly 20 years, this community isn't just where I work, it's my home. Growing up in the Midwest, I learned early the importance of connections and relationships. These values shape everything I do. From our initial conversation to long after you've settled into your new home, I'm here to provide ongoing support and guidance. From staging to cutting-edge marketing strategies, we expertly showcase your home to sell swiftly for the highest possible price. So if you're ready to buy or sell, please reach out to me. And remember, important decisions require savvy solutions.
Well, welcome back for segment number 3. Did that sound funny? Because it sounded funny in my head.
I don't know. I'm saying a bunch of things funny, so I don't know.
English was the word, yeah. Segment 3 of our Move the Needle podcast series and YouTube series. Again, a special thanks to HomeSmart for hosting us. This is such a great location, the couch vibe. I really like it, hanging out here. Savvy Realty Group, Amy Richardson, of course, and Craft 64.
Yes.
Thank you guys so much for your support. Well, this next guy is also in blue.
Yes. It's been full blue, not coordinated either.
And it's Dr. David Leichen. Now, I know Dave very well because he is my co-host on the podcast Learn from People Who Lived It. Mm-hmm. He is also the co-author of our new book, which is out now, called Revive and Thrive, a 6-week wellness challenge.
Hang on, you've been holding the books up. I got to do this.
Yeah, no, that's your copy.
This is my copy.
That's your copy.
6-week challenge by my partner and his partner.
Yeah,
beautiful.
We'll talk about it in just a little bit. But
now, can you believe that we started working on this May of 2023?
I don't want to think about it.
That was when we first started batting ideas around.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
And then we recorded everything in, you remember Jill McMahon, who was on our podcast? Yeah. We used her office to make all the video recordings because, well, look, we'll get into the book in a little bit, but there's QR codes inside the book, and they all correspond to a video because people can go to Amazon and they can buy it, and they're like, why is this book so expensive? And it's because it comes with...
It's a whole video series. Yeah.
It comes with custom videos for people to play along in the experience. So tell Steve a little bit about you, man, and how you came to be.
Yes.
Well, about the program or about me personally?
No, about you personally.
Let's
get to know Dave.
Oh, boy.
One of these guys, you just can't find much about him, so a little intrigue there. So tell us about yourself.
Well, I've been a practicing psychiatrist for, I lose track of time, 28 or so years.
A couple years.
Yeah. Worked at the VA for a long time, had private practice for a while, and right around the time that Mathew decided to change his career path, I kind of got the bug to do the same. So now I'm focusing more on doing podcasts and doing some research and writing and stuff like that. And so I'm kind of taking a different path away from kind of the clinical setting.
Gotcha.
And that's been a lot of fun.
Has it been interesting?
Yeah, it's been more than interesting.
Do you miss any parts of the practice?
At times.
We don't ever get to talk like this, so this is why this is good for me.
I think one of the things that I like the most, one of the things I like the most about psychiatry practice was talking with people and interviewing people and learning things about people that have had interesting lives. And, a lot of times, they're coming to see me because of depression and
PTSD,
trauma-related things, sleep problems, and stuff like that. But their stories of how they got there are always interesting, and then being able to put together a plan to help get them on a better path. And in a lot of ways, what we're doing now has elements of that. We're talking to people primarily on learn from people who lived it, who are on the other side of something horrible that happened, and it's interesting to hear their stories about how they got to a better place, and what it took for them to work through it, and where they are now. But I'm hoping this year actually to launch some additional podcasts and do some interviews with people and get some interesting conversations going, because that's the best part of what I did.
Yeah. Well, and I'm going to toot Dave's horn for him. Look, I know loads and loads of doctors, and not every doctor is good at articulating their craft. They're often so heady and so smart, and they're so wound up in the weeds. But one of the greatest things about Dr. Dave is his ability to really simplify the message and kind of make it so that even somebody like me gets it. And I'm
looking to do more of that too.
Yeah. Well, you're so good at it. You're so good at it.
So again, like this question again, over your career, general question: what patterns have you noticed about the habits or mindsets that make people most resilient in the face of their biggest challenges?
Yeah. So I can start answering that question kind of the opposite way. So people that have difficult childhoods and learn patterns of coping at young ages that are not helpful, right? So you talk about people that have been in an alcoholic home, people that have had major disruptions like a death in the family from a young age. Whenever that happens, people learn how to deal with that with the skills that they have at that age, right? So if somebody is 8 years old when there's a major disruption, whatever tools you have at 8 years old is how you solve that problem and how you stay well and learn to get through it. Now you fast forward into your teen years, into your 20s, into your adulthood, into your family if you get married. Those old patterns don't automatically go away, right? And so that's where I think people get into trouble and they struggle with resilience, is that they're still operating under an old operating system, to use a computer term. And at some point they have to have an upgrade. Now, for a lot of people, they have maybe families outside of their immediate family where they can see healthy behavior modeled, and they say, "Oh, I want that in my life," right? And so they can start making changes and incorporating that. So there can sometimes be corrective experiences that people have that kind of help them to work through some things. And some people, when they're stuck, it's helpful to go through therapy and have a person who's neutral, who's outside of the situation, who's not emotionally attached to the situation, to be able to kind of walk them through it, or be like a referee for them, that as they're discussing certain things, and they're not necessarily seeing it because they're so close to it, but as a new person looking at it for the first time, it's like, that's interesting. Yeah. Did you ever notice that there's this pattern? Every time this happens, then you end up responding like this. Yeah. And then the light bulb goes on, all right? And when the only way that you can change a pattern is to be able to identify it, right? If you don't see the pattern, you have 0% chance of changing it. So just being aware that there's a pattern there, then you could say, okay, my therapist said that this happened the last time. Now I'm seeing it happen. Now I'm aware that, I tend to lose my temper over the stupid thing. When you start to see the pattern, you have a chance of being able to correct it before it goes all the way. Or if you start going down that road, you can catch yourself early and maybe grab an exit ramp.
Isn't that so good?
Yeah.
Grab the exit ramp. That's one of the lines.
And it takes time.
Yeah.
There's no, hopefully I'm close enough, there's no shortcut to that. Yeah. You just have to do it over time.
Can other people just say, hey man, this is your stupid pattern, or do we ultimately have to come to that realization ourselves?
Think about how you get when a friend points out your flaws.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
People tend to get bristly about it. So I think part of the art of being a therapist is kind of learning that timing, maybe hint about it a little bit, maybe point it out a little bit more directly further down the line when you have trust and you have more of a understanding relationship. So yeah, a lot of times if you just give your friend advice, they're like, get lost.
Yeah, right. Yeah, no thanks.
Yeah. And so that takes time and trust, and but it certainly can happen.
Does it ever get fatiguing to you to live in this mental health space? I mean, do you ever get bogged down by the trauma and the stories, and do you ever just like go to Disneyland, say, forget it?
I had a trick that I would use when I was doing clinical practice.
Yeah.
And when you come into my office, I'm 100% there. And when you go out of my office, everything that you brought in goes back out with you, right? And so I would try to not dwell on things and take things home, because everybody's struggling with something. And ultimately, it's your struggle. I'm here to help, but it's not my struggle. And you have to keep that space in order to not get overwhelmed with what you're doing, especially when you're dealing in trauma.
Well, let me just tell you that's a special skill you have.
Yeah.
That is a very, a lot easier said than done. I mean, I could even say, like, I relate to, even, let's talk in the business, when I was coaching people, during the day, that was kind of, that's different type of thing, but very mental, would you say, mentally fatiguing, and I could not shut it down. I would later day think of, what can I help them with tomorrow? It wasn't good. I was not made for that. I actually took the exit ramp off of that very quickly. Yeah. I couldn't do it. It was 4 hours of coach. Some people love that. To me, it was just too much weight, and I could not shut it off. That's so important to be able to. They walk out that door.
Well, with that said, I mean, there have been times where, somebody hits you with something that's just so emotionally heavy. I'm trying to think of what's the best way to describe it without going into too many details. I mean, sometimes things hit you where you live, right? So if somebody tells me about something terrible that happened with kids, and your kids are around the same age, it's really impossible to not have that resonate with you in a way
You're
that
driving home
it's
from
hard
that
to let it
meeting
go,
about it.
or even you got to queue up for the next person coming in, right, and try to find a way to put that behind. I mean, you do the best you can with it, and sometimes you take a deep breath and go get a glass of water and walk around the clinic for a few seconds, and then we're ready.
I'd love to sit down with your family because what I was thinking about as he was talking, I was like, what's it like to be married to a psychiatrist? What's it like to be the son of a psychiatrist?
He knows what everybody's thinking all the time.
I get that joke a lot, right? You're analyzing me. It's like, no, I'm off the clock right now. There's no bill coming.
Try to BS dad. Good luck,
Yeah, you're not gonna do it, right? But I actually think too, there's probably a lot of upside to it, because you've probably taught your children how to be emotionally intelligent, how to look for things, how to be able to see things before
Certainly
they
tried,
get.
yeah,
you tried.
Yeah,
right. You did as much as dad could for credit.
But it's funny with kids. I heard somebody say one time, and I think this is a really good piece of advice for families, people that are raising kids and going into preteen and teen years. And I wish that I had this before. There's a thing about when kids are maturing and they're getting ready to leave the nest, right? Part of the way that they get ready to leave the nest is they start to reject what you're giving them that would be holding them back, right? So certain beliefs, certain family values, certain pieces of advice, because their job is to grow up, mature, and leave the nest, right? So that's where you see sometimes, if you had the really hard driving dad, who's the CEO of the corporation, and then they have this slacker kid who's the complete polar opposite of them.
Tommy boy?
Yeah, so it's kind of like that situation. And somebody figured out a hack around this. And the hack is you surround yourself with a couple of other couples that are like-minded to you, that have the same values, that have the same goals for their kids, and you just kind of integrate. So they're getting the same message from another family that they would be getting from you, but because it's not you, they'll
actually listen.
They'll actually listen to it.
Oh, you heavy, much heavier.
Yeah.
And you know that from coaching, Mathew, and on the ice when you have if you're coaching your kids like that, the other coaches have a much greater impact with your kids.
Sure.
Same type of thing.
Yeah,
I think kids kind of go dark until about 30.
Yeah.
And then they're like, "Oh, geez, Dad was actually right about some things."
Can we go on?
true?
Yeah. Can we go on vacations with your mom and dad? Yeah, let's go on vacations, right?
You know, I was only 23 when my dad died, so I never really got to that realization. Right, he was still just my dad, who was what it was. Your dad's still around.
Yeah, and I came around really. My parents were. I always had a good relationship with my parents. I came around in college. That's why I'm joking about, because I know Max over there just went had a great vacation with his parents. I started going on vacation with my parents, and I started having a great time, because you get old enough to actually appreciate somebody flipping the bill for you. Let's call it what it is.
Right.
And hey, mom and dad are pretty cool. Gosh, they, you actually didn't realize all the time that they paid for stuff. So it's a growing up thing. And so, anyways, it was really cool.
And you don't have the same conflicts too, because I think parents a lot of times are trying to shape their kids and trying to instill in them certain values, and that constant pressure, I think, can create tensions.
A diamond? Oh no, sorry,
not a diamond.
I wish.
More like a lump of coal.
Yeah.
But as you mature into that adult relationship, then the dynamics change. I certainly noticed that with my older son, who's 26 now.
Yeah, I've often said to my wife, my son just started at ASU this year, and I've often said to my wife, like, I actually think it's going to do a lot for our relationship.
Yeah.
The distance, and this like him not being underneath the roof all the time. It's going to be cool to see how that unfolds.
My youngest just started at ASU, a couple of weeks ago, and I'm seeing that already.
Yeah.
Like he's calling now and asking me how to cook certain things, and he's calling and saying, how do I do this with the house? It's like, dude, I was trying to get you to do cooking lessons already 2 years ago,
right?
And you had no interest. Now that you have to eat and the food isn't presented to you, now you're interested.
But you don't say that to him.
No, well, he's going to know now.
Hey, Dr. Dave,
you should have paid attention earlier, son.
My daughter's a sophomore, and she's thrill of my life looped around and moved back in with me.
Oh no!
And so I seriously, I love every minute of it. Mm-hmm. She's great, great roommate, but having meals again together. So, anyways, it's a cool experience. I've got a question regarding some preventative stuff. Mm-hmm. Many people wait, of course, until the crisis to seek help. Right?
Oh boy, yeah.
What small daily practices or mindsets could you recommend to people to prevent mental health struggles before they become severe?
Buy the book. The answer's in the book. Buy the book.
But he's got a tip for us. I know he's got something for us.
One of the reasons why we did the book was to try to help people to build practices that would help to also build resilience, help to manage stress, and help to eliminate conflicts before they grow into something. I think to answer your question directly, it's learning how to identify those patterns early and start putting some things in place. But generally, developing wellness habits, exercise, stress management of different types, letting things go and not dwelling on things and festering on things. A lot of that takes practice, even mental practice. Especially if you're not used to doing it. When I got away from doing full-time clinical care, I started taking up yoga. And that was one of the best things that I could have done for myself in terms of relaxation, in terms of physical mobility. I don't have aches and pains the same way that I used to. And then also with that was a mindfulness practice as well. And I don't worry about anything anymore. Honestly, I really don't worry about anything anymore.
It's not worth it.
It's amazing. Well, maybe I've talked about it in our other podcasts before. I would really consider myself more of a really happy-go-lucky, easy-going person, except when I get out in this Arizona traffic. People out there, and I've got my aromatherapy. I just, even today coming over here, I white knuckle. My thing. I need relaxation. Traffic, literally driving. It's just, it's the most. I can have the greatest day, like the most, like nothing, like on cloud nine, and I get in traffic and And by the time I get to my 20 minutes, I've got like a stiff neck,
Yeah.
and it's like my body's tense. It's my.
I used to see this Buddhist teacher, and he
Yeah.
used to tell us, make traffic your teacher.
Really?
He literally would give us that
Here?
assignment.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, here this is where I would see him, and he would say, make traffic your teacher. So that means when you get out there, when you get strung out or white knuckled, like you're supposed to, start going, okay, why is that showing up? Where's that coming from?
Because somebody's
To
slamming
learn
on their
from.
brakes right in front of me, almost killing me, and somebody's almost ramming me from behind, and I don't know. I mean, is there anything else you could do?
I can give you a tip that I would give my PTSD veterans.
Okay.
When you get behind the wheel of the car, you set your mindset, right? Can I curse?
Yeah.
Okay. So what do people tell themselves when they're going to drive? Oh, I'm dreading this. It's
It's going to be a hard drive.
assholes
It's going to be a hard
everywhere.
drive.
Yeah, right. If that's what you're expecting, that's what you're going to find. Okay.
Remember
right?
what Christy said.
Yeah.
You see it, you're going to bring it to you.
Right. So if you get behind the wheel of the car and say, okay, this is going to be a relaxing trip. I'm not going to worry about what other people are doing. I'm going to give people extra space. If somebody's tailgating me, I'll change lanes.
Try to just
right, and you set your mindset ahead of time that no matter what happens, I'm gonna stay relaxed, and we're all gonna get there in one piece. There's no hurry.
Well, I'm
not in a rush.
I'm gonna start tonight, and then I'll check in with you with
Yeah.
Mathew, because it is seriously. It's if I could. I would say it's literally the most stressful thing.
Yeah.
I'm not the only one here in Arizona. There's probably a lot of people on these commutes. It's like top of the list that like stress me out. As a matter of fact, when the show makes it big time, by the way, I'm going to be getting dropped off by a driver.
Helicopter?
I'm not going to be driving because it doesn't.
I like
I'd rather sit in the back and read my questions.
Right.
Oh,
It doesn't.
amen.
But I'm going to try that because it really does. It does. I don't like being like that. I don't like the change in myself. Sometimes I stop myself. That you talk about that awareness. I'm like, what am I doing?
Yeah. Right.
You start swearing at people. They can't hear you.
Right.
I mean, they can't hear you.
But that
It's
goes
like-
to my point about if you set your mindset ahead of time. Now somebody may cut you off and you get tense, but if you preset your mindset of okay,
Instead
we're
of
gonna let it
you.
go. Yeah. Although I think I'd be more stressed in a Waymo.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Just because you're not sure what's going to happen.
Not driving. Oh God, that
I think
freaks
they
me
should
out.
put,
Play
they
that
need to put
autonomous,
somebody
yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Put a dummy in there.
Like a
or
blow up,
something. Something. I know. I don't like nothing in it. Dude. It's
Right.
unnerving to me.
Like the autopilot on the movie Airplane.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Something like that. Right?
What's interesting is everything that we've been talking about is a chapter in our book, right?
Yeah.
It really is. Like you talk that book right there. You talk about managing your expectations behind the wheel, right? Like getting in the car and managing those expectations. You talked about the power of movement. He's doing yoga. We talk about power of forgiveness. And one of the ones that we're not going to spend a lot of time talking about the book, but it's week 4. What's so funny?
Yeah.
I just really quick want to talk about why we thought it was so important to add humor to this workbook. Because when you think about wellness, the first thing you don't automatically go to laughter or humor.
Right. The world can be a very dark place.
Yeah.
Horrible things can happen in your personal life and around you. You got to find a way to laugh. If you're having trouble with anger, you can't be angry when you're laughing. It just cancels it out. So finding something humorous in the absurd, in the irony of a situation that's unfolding bad in front of you, finding something to chuckle about. I know for me personally, I could find humor visiting somebody in ICU, right? Now, not to be disrespectful, right? But you find like these little things that are just okay. And if you can crack a smile, even if it's to yourself,
Right.
It helps to kind of break the tension a bit and bring you back down to the present instead of dwelling on this thing that happened.
And allowing the laugh. Like
Yeah.
I'll give you a perfect example, and I won't name names, but I had the unfortunate experience of being in an ICU with somebody, and they farted. And they were kind of they were asleep, so they weren't sure but it was funny as hell.
Yeah.
And everybody in the room had a great laugh about it.
Well, it's good that they had a laugh about it.
Yeah, right. And then it would just it let out a little steam in the room.
Yeah.
That's what it did. And then we cried, but
Yeah.
it was awesome.
Yeah. And it's also a bonding experience too if you're laughing with other people.
And it's just a silly little thing.
Can I tell a quick funny one with my son like that? He actually called me stressed from college. He went out the night before. He thought he was so distressed. He called me. His car got stolen. 3 a.m. Don't worry about it. We got insurance. Drive down in the morning. Yeah, sorry. He's all, don't worry. We did it.
Right.
And all stressed out. We call the police. We're doing that and thinks it is. And then all of a sudden we're in a car and we're driving around. And he's like, I could see the light going on in his head. He's like, wait a minute. Go over this way. And there's his car. He went out partying and forgot where he parked his car.
There it is.
And we've all done this before.
Right.
And anyways.
So did you all choose to laugh about that moment?
Long and short, as we get in the car, he's nervous. I drove he's down in Tucson.
Right.
It was the whole thing. I took a day off of work, and we're just in the car, and we're just sitting there, and we're just driving, and we just burst out laughing. And it was one of those awesome moments.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't even say anything, talk about it. He didn't. Anyways, it's just one of those things. I think he was a little, you don't.
A little embarrassed, maybe.
Of course.
Yeah.
But you don't.
What a better way to handle it other than, what are you, stupid? Why can't you remember where your car is?
I still remember that. Again, to remember that awkward moment, that laughter. Anyways, it turns into a beautiful moment, actually.
When it's a story that you tell then later on, too. Right.
Yeah. As we kind of wind down, I wonder, who do you... I mean, I know the answer to this, but I want to hear your answer. Who is this for? Who's going to benefit from this workbook?
Who? Anybody who has decided that just like an exercise program is going to build their muscle strength and their endurance, they want to build their character. They want to work on improving themselves and how they interact with other people, improving their tolerance for other people, work on character building. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think that's what we were going for. So be better at stress management, be better at not letting little things get in the way of relationships. Because a lot of what we looked at was when we were trying to figure out what topics we wanted to cover, we looked at what are the top things that people tend to get stuck with.
Well, and this mirrors my healing journey.
Yeah.
Like all 6 of these things are things I had to institute in my own life to feel better again.
Right.
So,
and for me, this was the things that I kept seeing coming up over and over again that were holding people back, even when they were on medication, right? Like what were the things that people were getting stuck? They come in with depression, they're on medication, they're having a not great response. Where else are they stuck? What else needs to happen to alleviate a certain area of stress? What else needs to happen to allow them to let go of something that's really irritating them and causing friction in their life? And so these are kind of like the top 6 areas that kind of came out of discussions back and forth and kind of batting around ideas. So it's interesting that it mirrors your healing journey, but it also mirrors my clinical experience in a lot of ways. Yeah.
And it sounded like it applies to everything you were saying. Pretty much applies to everybody.
Yeah.
I mean,
and we all got the same baggage, man. That's what's so funny
it's like
about
sign
it.
me up, right?
It's probably the biggest thing that I've learned from learned from people who lived it with you is like we've interviewed well over 300 guests in the last few years, and every one of them I bet comes on our show and they think they're the only one that's ever gone through something just like that. And I mean, we have so many recurring themes on the podcast, and that just further validates this. There's about 6 things that everybody's dealing with. Yeah.
To some extent or another.
Right.
Yeah.
So cool.
Before we let him go, I'm not going to ask him about the ballet or anything like that.
His theme song.
But theme song.
When you're swimming with the dolphins.
But I have a feeling he may be able to get this one. Mm-hmm. But if your career as a psychiatrist could be summed up in one forgettable moment, what would it be?
One forgettable moment?
Unforgettable moment.
Unforgettable moment.
Did I say forgettable? Forgettable.
That's our producer's oversight.
Yeah. Sorry.
So if my career could be summed up in one unforgettable moment, there are several that have a similar pattern, and this was what always kept me going, is when you see that moment that the light bulb goes off for somebody. They've been struggling, and you've been pointing out little things. And then they come in and you're talking about something, and all of a sudden you just see this kind of awakening. I would live for those moments, because then you know that you've finally broken through and that you're about to start making some headway.
You've moved the needle.
Yeah, move the needle.
Bam. That's how we wrap, baby. Yes. Thank you, Dave.
Love
so
that.
good to see you
Yeah,
as always,
same.
man.
Yeah, good to meet you.
I love this. It's so fun to like be chopping it up in a different format, isn't it?
What a great show. Different, again,
Yeah.
like different ways, but all the same in a
Right.
way. I mean, anyways, loved it.
Yep. Whitman, Grayson, Dave.
Yes.
Couple of books out for everybody.
Oh,
Look,
yeah, couple
Revive
of
and
books.
Thrive is available right now. We've got the link in the show notes. You can get it on Amazon. Keep in mind when you see that price tag, you're like, whoa, what? It's because there are accompanying high-quality videos that come with the series.
Two videos per week. Start off and a midweek to kind of keep you going and keep
That's
you on
right.
track.
Yeah, there's a check-in. So not only do we kick the week off, we check in with you midweek to see kind of how you're doing. So there you go. There you go.
Awesome.
All right, man. Well, listen, good to see you.
Yeah,
good
it's
to
great.
see you.
Good to see you as well.
Yeah, we'll look forward to seeing everybody next time on our Move the Needle YouTube and podcast series. And by the way, we always say this, but we can't say it enough. If you watch our show and you feel like, man, I would be a great guest on that show, if you think that of yourself, you're probably right. So there's a email in the show notes that you can reach out to us to be a guest, and we'd love to see you next time.
Yes, absolutely. And we just got one just yesterday.
Beautiful.
That, so.
All right, guys. See you then.